Interestingly, I wasn't even happy with the affair, as it was against what I believed. But my affair partner did his best job in convincing me how much he loves me and how much his marriage stinks. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, I Would Like to Recover and Move On. And a big shout out to Adnan for sending me the story. And guys, this story is about a gal, she's been married for a little while now, who ended up getting dumped by her affair partner because she was cheating on her husband. You're going to see here, guys, that this is going to be the biggest pity party sob fest you've heard in a while, and I do mean a very big one. You're going to see here she's married to her husband. He has a severe chronic illness, which she mentions here, and because of it suffers from ED, erectile dysfunction. As well as she mentions that in their marriage, he stopped being very affectionate with her, loving, gained a bunch of weight, hasn't been doing things to try to fix himself, just really letting himself go. And as a result of it, she ultimately ended up having an affair, gets caught, all that, and the affair partner kicks her to the curb, and it's a big crybaby fest. And that'll be a very good one to go over here, guys, to show you a situation where, while she is most certainly in the wrong for having the affair and doing all these things, and it's a big crybaby fest, I don't blame if what she's saying here is accurate. On the basis it's accurate, I don't blame her for being upset with the husband for his letting things go, letting himself go, not making an effort to try to meet some of her needs, all that. Because I try to be fair here. And, you know, in the stories I cover, guys, and you all know the stories I cover, I've had a lot of times where guys talk about how they got married, and literally they get married like that. And their wife puts on a bunch of weight and doesn't do anything to make herself look better, to lose the weight. The sex comes to a screeching halt. She's no longer affectionate or loving towards him, etc., etc. And I always say, she's the a-hole for that. She doesn't work on herself. She doesn't care. It's bait and switch. And he has every right, after she's unwilling to make any changes, to kick her to the curb. And I absolutely mean that. In this situation, too, if a gal marries a guy, and on the basis, assuming it's accurate, she's good to him, and he lets himself go, he doesn't really try to work on himself, he's not affectionate with her, he's not interested in fixing things, listening to her, whatever, then she has a reason to be upset, fair enough, if she's trying to communicate with him in a healthy manner, and if things will get better, and it's not going to get better, then she has a reason to kick him to the curb. I got no problem with that. I do have a problem when somebody then just goes, instead of trying to work on it or realize it's not going to work and cut losses, to cheat and have an affair and do all that, amongst many other things. That's what I have a problem with. And this is what she does. And of course, you're going to see through this whole thing the blame game. It's always one way or another worded to be that it's always his fault. Even where she wants to actually end the marriage, you're going to see, but she wants him to do it, not her. You're going to see what I'm talking about here. So enough with the intro. It's gone on long enough. Starts off here, she says, I would like to recover and find peace. What about your husband? Is he allowed to recover and find peace? I'm married to a man who has a chronic illness and suffers from untreatable ED. He is a nice and faithful man. I'm a woman who ended up cheating. When I got married, I thought my husband would take better care of himself and things will improve. But he lived his careless life and sex was non-existent from the beginning. Well, were you aware that he had this chronic disease when you married him? Did you take time to study the effects, if it will get worse with time and all that? Were you, even though as a man he should be taking care of himself physically and improving things and all that, were you communicating him in a healthy manner your issues? Doesn't sound like it. I would say he was inexperienced in how to have a meaningful relationship too. I had a few seconds of sex just to make a baby once while the time I was ovulating into the first year of our marriage. Once the baby was born, no sex for 2 years. He tried later, but his ED worsened and he would come in 2 seconds. There's a quick draw McGraw. Well, you need to communicate that your needs of having the sex is important, so he needs to see a doctor, a therapist, whatever it takes to try to get things to improve down south. To make it work. You have to communicate this is what you need in a marriage. And if you're not willing to do that, and he certainly should be trying to better himself, but see what I mean? Communication's key. And by the way, notice that I think she settled for her fixer-upper. I always hoped he would improve. He'd lose his weight and exercises and seek support from medical professionals. Meanwhile, we could connect emotionally and be good partners. Very soon after a year into marriage, he started to fail to connect with me emotionally due to his complex life with chronic illness, parenting, and his own ideas of relationship. Again, not cool if he's, not willing to work on things, but if you're not communicating in a way he understands, women think that guys will just figure it out, or that we're mind readers. We're not. You have to be direct as possible with what you want or what's bothering you. Not dropping hints, not hoping we figure it out. For 6 years, I was very vocal about my needs. Okay, she's claiming to be vocal, but were you vocal with hints and innuendos, hoping you'd figure it out, or were you direct? You're not saying that. We only had SEX because I insisted and as I wanted kids. Unfortunately, I lost 3 pregnancies, which was devastating for me. Well, that's terrible. I felt unloved, no touch, no passion. I started resenting him for not being able to have SEX to have babies. I didn't have money to do an IVF. He was busy eating bad food and playing video games, but helpful in doing house chores and supported me and a great dad. He stopped sleeping next to me very soon after we got married because I was pregnant and sick. Then because I had a baby who would wake up every 45 minutes. Then because my child kept coming to my bed many times at night until he turned 2.5. Then my husband got used to this pattern. He never ate what I cooked for him because we are from different cultures. He didn't like what we ate. He cooked separately and ate in his office at different timings. He would blame his diabetes for it. I saw it as a bonding time to have at least one meal together. If you don't eat what I bring your food, let's eat together. But he found it not necessary. So if what she's saying is accurate, this dude is never there. They got married, and it sounds like there's no love, no affection, no comforting. They don't spend any time together. The hell's the point of being married? At this point, then, she should cut her losses and move on. Because the guy obviously is not willing to make any changes. He mentioned diabetes there, so that's a problem. He's not willing to make any... Again, if what she's saying is accurate, let's keep that in mind. It's just not working. So it's best time to cut your losses and move on. Go for the divorce. And let's be honest, women are favored in the divorce courts anyway. But instead, watch what she does. I started asking for solutions. I invited him to sleep next to me, at least eat a meal together, or go for a walk with me. Do something to connect with me. Read a book on relationships, but he didn't believe in it. He said he loves me and denied doing any of this, which was a textbook bullshit. I knew he loved me, but I didn't feel it. See, women need to be shown. And remember, guys, it's not for your relationship, guys. You can't just get married, put a ring on her finger, and say, I don't have to do anything anymore. I don't have to exercise or take care of myself. I don't need to take her out. I don't need to listen to her or make her feel loved. This is, again, for your relationship, guys. If you don't do that, she's going to become very unhappy real quick, and she's going to find love and attention someplace else. Now, sadly, nowadays they do it anyway, but you get my point, okay? It's just the same way with ladies. If you get all fat and stop taking care of your husband in the bedroom and all that, he has needs, and he's going to dump your ass or he may cheat. He shouldn't cheat. He should end it, but you get my point. It says here, no connection, no mutual goals, no sexual satisfaction, which is making me depressed. After DD, we reflected for years, and I found out that he was like that because he knew he can't provide me sex, or he didn't know how to be loving. He didn't think it was important to eat meals together. He thought being faithful and a good husband is enough. He takes responsibility for being deaf towards my needs. However, he believes I'm still a horrible person to do what I did to him. I agree, but I think he's responsible as well as I cried for help. We both learned lessons from this. Every time I wanted to leave, he would ask for 6 more months' time, but no changes or no efforts. Never acknowledged my S-word needs. He didn't want to talk about it. But now after DD, what the hell is DD? He took a lot of help to get treatments, acknowledges my needs. I felt like if I had a normal marriage, I could have more kids. Then when I started living in marriage with no touch, no passion, no shared goals, I saw nothing in the marriage except a young kid. I felt like a housemate living with a nice man. I needed a husband. So, just like a guy who wants to have a wife that's supportive and loyal and not fat, thin, healthy, fun to be around, and has his needs being met, if they're doing marriage, I don't blame her for wanting these things, but again, it's her way of going about it. That's the issue. And again, when she says she was vocal about these things, I'm not sure if she means, let's sit down, I need this. Not, it'd be really nice if you did this, or no, that doesn't work. 6 months passed and he didn't put any efforts. After losing my third pregnancy in 6 years in the marriage, I wanted to end the marriage. My partner refused. In his opinion, he was doing everything. He helped out with the chores, didn't go out, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. What else would a wife want? Well, there's no mention of a job here. There's no mention of a job for either of them. That's very confusing to me. He said he loves me and doesn't need to show on an everyday basis. He said, you are never content. I invited him to come to a psychologist and get relationship counseling, but he thought that they know nothing. I asked for a divorce, open relationship, but the answer is no. He said, I'm selfish. Well, the open marriage thing, you are selfish. But a divorce, after all this, then you follow through. That's the problem here. If both are miserable, nothing's working, okay, you cut your losses, just like a bad investment. Finally, you cut your losses, take the tax loss, and move on. Same here. So we all know, unless she's in a certain part of the world where that's not going to happen, or very difficult, which I don't think she is, you get a divorce. But he changed after he found out about my affair overnight. Took counseling, started showing affection, didn't refuse walk, was happy to sleep next to me and have a meal together when he can. Not sure how it was possible, only after wrongdoing. I love him now. You love him now. He was very adamant in his ways. I would ask him, let's sleep next to each other, hold hands, let's go shopping together, let's go for a walk, but he never thought that's important. Whenever I asked for a divorce, he told me I'm selfish, doesn't care about a young child and breaking his heart. Better for mom and dad to split up and start over than be miserable together. I felt suffocated. I didn't want to break my child's heart and live with a burden to hurt my husband. I made a mistake and I took the wrong path. I ended up meeting someone who was going through unloved marriage, which wasn't true. He did his best to make me fall in love and made me feel as I'm his soulmate. I wanted to be out of my marriage, and he never wanted that. I asked for a chance, divorce, open relationship before I felt that there was no more options left. Now, let's just say she's being being truthful about all this, which we know there can be lots and lots of exaggerations going on here. Still, you could have gotten divorced if you wanted to. I don't buy this. It couldn't happen. It's impossible. I don't buy that at all. And she's unhappy. She's unhappy. And for what she describes, fair enough. But still, more can have been done. And there are guys out there who are just clueless jackasses in our relationships and marriages. And, fine. But you cut your losses. So interestingly, I wasn't even happy with the affair as it was against what I believe. But my affair partner did a best job in convincing me how much he loves me and how his marriage sucks. Sounds like me, she's not happy whatever she does. I never told anything to my affair partner about the details of my marriage. All he knew is my partner is amazing, but we didn't connect. Never shared any bedroom details, just spoke high of my husband, nothing more than that. Well, again, she's describing her husband like, aside from the fact I'm getting no sex and no support, no emotional support, my emotional needs are being met and all that, and we never eat together, but still he's kind and loving. I told him about the struggles I've had by doing the wrong things. I requested many times to my affair partner to end it if he has a good marriage, but he always said he lived in a loveless marriage and trash talked about his wife and stayed in the marriage for the kids. I wanted to end the affair after realizing that I am too invested, and somewhere in my mind I didn't believe the guy. I always used to get dreams about him being a coward and ingenuine. I must admit I fell in love hard but hated choosing the wrong path. Later, 2.5 years into this, my husband discovered my affair. I admitted to being in love with the other man and asked my husband to leave me for what I did and apologized. Why are you asking your husband to leave you and be the one to end the relationship? Why don't you leave him? Sounds to me like she can blame him for everything going wrong, and then if he divorces her, she can still blame him for ending the marriage. Not my fault. My affair partner then told his wife. He only loved his wife and I was just a mistake or was just sex, which is probably true. He cut me off completely when I was vulnerable and confused. I asked him over emails why he did all that. Never got a reply. I asked him once face-to-face as I was confused. He took an intervention order against me and I questioned him why he lied, why he manipulated. That's called karma, honey. Yes, she had, if what she's stating in this story is accurate, genuine good reason to be unhappy, but if you're going to go cheat on your guy and cheat on your kid and your family, this is karma. He couldn't go ahead with the intervention order as he had to prove me violent. He's obviously doing a restraining order against her, which I wasn't. I surely was upset, confused, devastated with the whole situation. But I got what I deserved, but he had no repercussions whatsoever. He did his best to make sure I never questioned his manipulations. His wife took him back and said to me I was just a piece of meat and he was just getting sidetracked. She said my husband only loved me and fought to get me back. Now get back off, you dirty woman. One time they saw me and he started hugging and kissing and started waving at my car. I'm not sure why they had to mock at me. Isn't he equally disgusting as much as I am? Everyone got hurt, but it's just the affair partner never had anyone to answer to. Got away clean, untouchable. Wife loves him. I can't question why he did this to him because then I'll be declared a stalker. So she gets busted, so she wants to make sure her affair partner gets busted too. It took me a long time to forget my love for him. It's an addiction. Although we know it's an illicit drug is bad for you, but detox is always hard. So she's comparing her affair with him as an addiction. Therefore, I can't be blamed for that because it's an addiction. All these years I hated myself for being used and manipulated, for being a cheat. I wish my husband left me so I didn't have to live with this and see the pain because of my choice. Again, why are you making your husband the one to leave you? Why can't you do that? I asked him to divorce me after he discovered as well, but it was his choice to rebuild, and he said he hates me for what I did, but he loves me and the child needs us together. He is selfish in a way too, when he said that you can find a man in a day and I'll be lonely. He said you are a good woman, good mother, and responsible wife, but you cheated. It's hard for me to get rid of you. She says, I'm still here, waiting for him to improve his health now, but I'm in love with him because of the emotional connection he provided. Good Lord, this girl, roller coaster. Well, this guy should take action to improve himself, to stop eating garbage, to lose weight, to be healthy, do whatever he can, because I think she said a chronic illness, but she let us slip about diabetes, to see a doctor and a therapist. I mean, does he want to get any unless she's not that attractive? These are important things. And again, if you're going to do marriage, you got to talk to your wife. You got to communicate. There are needs she has to be met. Again, if you do that. I still haven't stopped hurting, feeling extremely embarrassed for getting used. Well, you were using him too. I still wake up dreaming this couple makes me anxious and sleepless. It took me 2 years of antidepressants and psych therapy to get over this trauma to heal a bit. Lady, you're being a drama queen. Notice how this is all about her. Again, some fair, justifiable complaints with regards to the husband, but still, the victim. It's unbelievable. It took me 4 years to even forget my love for him. I feel disappointed with myself that I failed to move on. We as a couple still struggle, supporting each other, but embarrassed that we are still struggling. And the other couple took a few months and sent us a message, move on, what's wrong with you guys? She makes fun of me and he hides away. So she really wants her affair partner who kicked her to the curb to pay. And she just can't let it go. There's a reason why they're obviously going for a restraining order against her. I feel I'm useless and a big failure. SEX is still absent and it's 11 years into my marriage. I will never improve as my husband still didn't try enough to get healthy. He's doing it slowly, but we tried any treatments with no result. I don't feel the need to find love anymore for sure. My partner will disagree with the idea of an open relationship. Well, he should. I've accepted this and what it's going to be like. The trauma of the whole affair and cheating has scarred me and my partner. How do I come to terms with my situation? It's suffocating to feel like a failure. Any advice would be appreciated. Also, lots of hateful comments when I poised an infidelity forum, which is understandable. I believe in honesty and monogamy in marriage. Unless both parties agree, I believe in love and being open and honest. Well, how can you believe in honesty and monogamy when you were out there cheating on your husband or wanting an open relationship? I never recommended cheating and totally understand this is the worst thing to do in a relationship. Although I believe in values, why did I choose the wrong path? Because life is more complex and everyone's situation is unique, and our actions are the result of the situations and experiences we have. Saying that it's not okay to cheat is 100% wrong. I wasn't kidding with the whole roller coaster of drama and emotions and pity party and all that. But if you believe just because you're married to a woman and you are faithful but will not provide love, togetherness, shared interests, and laugh together, I mean, being a good husband or wife is not enough. She says marriage is a mutual effort and needs regular nourishment. Although SEX is not everything, but when it's completely absent, where do you get it from? There needs to be some arrangement if you want to keep a marriage together. You can't survive a marriage just because you get married and you are a nice guy or a nice woman. Well, I do agree that if you're going to be married, which, given how things are nowadays, for guys I wouldn't do it, but if you're going to do it, yeah, she needs to be healthy and take care of her body and look good. Exercise, not eat a lot of garbage. Be feminine, be loyal, be fun, supportive, and loyal. Take care of his needs in the bedroom. good mother, good wife, all those things. Of course. But also he needs to do things too. He needs to take care of himself as well. Keep himself in shape, healthy, be strong for the family, take care of business, lead, be a freaking man, talk to her, communicate, give her the emotional support, all that. That's important. Goes both ways. And if one is not doing that and the other one's trying, then that person who's trying has genuine good reason to be upset. And if that person is willing to work with him, there's a point where you just simply have to cut your losses and move on and go for a divorce. But cheating ain't the answer. Open relationship ain't the answer. But you see, but in this story here, and that guy definitely, if what she's saying is accurate, he needs to work on shit. Absolutely. One, if he's doing the husband thing, but also as a freaking man. Okay? I don't let guys get away with shit ever when they're acting like slobs or jackasses or lazy bums. But also, I don't recommend what she did there, her cheating. Here comes a fire truck, so I can't messing up my train of thought here with all that sirens. But the point is this, is that you all heard it, this big emotional roller coaster and the big sob fest, and poor me, and everything. But at the end of the day, why don't you just divorce the guy? Because she always wanted him to initiate the divorce. And unless they live in a country where she can't do it, maybe that's the case. But otherwise, a situation like this, initiate the divorce. But it sounds to me, this guy, she wants to have this guy always painted as the bad guy no matter what, which typically happens. And if she's not being accurate here, if what she's describing her husband is not accurate, this could be yet another story of a gal who just wants to make her guy out to be the villain no matter what, and which excuses all her actions. That does happen. Anyway, guys, I'll be going here to cover just about the Crybaby Fest and how it's always interesting when these gals cheat, how the affair partner ends up kicking him to the curb, and then the drama, the waterworks, all that. All right, guys, that's it for today. It's a quick one. Be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.